WSRF 1580 AM W258CZ 99.5 FM Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Palm Beach, and the Bahamas.
The following is an independently produced program. The views expressed within are not those of WSRF 1580 AM, their staff, or management, but are strictly those of the hosts, guests, and callers.
Each day, the cost of living is increasing. It is the same as funeral and cemetery costs. Pre-plan your arrangements today and save your family the stress of finding the money later. Finance your plan up to 7 years with low down payments and affordable monthly payments. To set up your appointment, call Kathleen Barreau at 786-253-0211. 786-253-0211.
Nou menm pa Haitien, le nou fin grandi ti moun nou yo, nou ba yo edukasyon, yo jwen bon job, yo vin fonde fami yo. Ki sa ki ka arrive nan vie jou yo? Ti moun nou yo a paye bil pa yo, petit yo pral l'école, esko deja prepare enterrement ou? Pa kite ti moun nou yo nan problem, rele Kathleen Barreau nan 786-253-0211 pou ka edo prepare zafè enterrement ou. Pa kite petit ou yo ap chèche l'argent nan mes amis, rele Kathleen Barreau dans 786-253-0211. 786-253-0211.
Nous commençons une nouvelle année et c'est moment pour nous travail nouveau, plan nous. C'est peut-être ça, Caballero Rivera a offert un spécial extraordinaire, moi ça, pour aider à planifier. Avec seulement 2,5% de dépôt, ou qu'à réserver un espace cimetière pour ou ak famille ou. Dans un espace tranquille dans site Floyd là. Léo planifier bonheur dans moment difficile ça, li ba ou avantage pour pas porter bot blé devant tout le monde. Et spécial ça, pape dire pour tout temps. Relais Kathleen Barreau, jodia na 786-253-0211. Pour plus d'informations, pour cas assurer espace ou. Numéro encore, c'est 786-253-0211. Caballero Rivera, planifié jodia pour la paix, l'esprit demain. Chat with Kattt, chaque mardi from 6 o'clock to 6:30 p.m. discussing finance, mortgage, assurance, funeral care sur WSRF 1580 AM and 99.5 FM avec Kathleen Barreau. Nous là pour connecter avec toutes les ressources financières qui aident grandir. You are listening to WSRF 1580 AM, 99.5 FM. You are listening to Chat with Kattt. I am your host, Kathleen Barreau. We have a very special guest, and keeping up with Black History Month, I'm very honored and very pleased to have this gentleman on the show. This gentleman, he is actually blazing trails for the city of, not even the city of Miami, but just for the state of Florida, for the United States in its entirety. Before I introduce him, let me just give you a little bit of information about him. Our very special guest is dedicated to law enforcement. He's a dedicated law enforcement leader with over 2 decades of experience serving Miami Beach, known for his committed innovation, community engagement, public safety. Our special guest has been instrumental in implementing progressive policing strategies, prioritizing transparency and trust, with a strong focus on reducing crime and fostering positive relationships between the police and the community. He continues to lead with integrity and vision. Our special guest is a proud advocate of diversity, inclusion, and excellence in law enforcement. Our special guest is actually the first Black police chief for the city of Miami-Dade. I am happy and pleased to welcome none other than Police Chief Wayne Jones. Welcome to Chat with Kattt.
Kat, thank you so much. I am honored. I am thrilled to be here. Thanks for inviting me to be a part of your show today.
Thank you. I'm so happy that you could be here. I'm like geeking, and you already see the smiles just bursting over the airwaves. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it because I know I only have you for a set amount of time. You're a very busy man, so let's get into it. So, Police Chief, again, or Chief Jones, excuse me, congratulations on your appointment with the city of Miami Beach. You took Miami Beach Police Department as the first black police chief back in September of 2023. Can you share a little bit about your journey to this pivotal role?
Happy to, Kat. And I got to tell you, for me to sort of add perspective to this, I got to start with my even becoming a police officer many years ago. Next month, it would be 29 years I've been a police officer.
Wow.
My entire adult life has been serving this beautiful community we call Miami Beach. And so, I never had a dream of becoming a police officer like many of my colleagues do.
Really?
Some kids grow up thinking they want to become cops, and they spend their entire lives sort of working toward that goal, that dream. My journey started just after I'd finished college. A fraternity brother of mine, he and I were working together in a nonprofit organization. He had always dreamed about becoming a police officer and convinced me to apply with them here at the Miami Beach Police Department. I really didn't do it, quite frankly, with the goal or the intent of being hired. I did it really to provide moral and support to my fraternity brother. And so, long story short, fast forward a few months, I was hired to become a police officer in Miami Beach. He was not. Wow. He actually became a Florida Highway Patrol state trooper, did that for a short period of time, realized he hated it, wow, despite spending his entire life wanting to being law enforcement. He hated it, became a school teacher, and to this day, he is still teaching school. And so my journey started sort of not by design. Some people call it divine, sort of God's intentions for me, plan for me. It started a long time ago, not because I wanted to become a police officer, sort of fell into it and loved it, and set me on the path to serving and protecting our community, making it a better place for folks to live. Folks feel safe visiting it as well, and I've enjoyed it ever since.
What has been your proudest moment in your career so far?
So I've got two. The first of it would be crime reduction across the board within the city. Huge challenge, huge accomplishment. I think very, very proud of that. But moreover, I'm also proud of two Black lady supervisors I promoted. One to the position of commander, that had never been done before in the history of this police department, and the other to the position of police captain. We had never had a lady Black police captain in the organization before. Very, very proud of that. Very proud of the role they've been playing ever since within the organization, shaping it for the future, a better future than we have today.
As the first Black police chief of Miami Beach, how does it feel to break barriers in a historically significant position?
Yeah, I never set out to become a police officer, like you said. Never set out to become police chief. What I did set out to do was the very best job I could do in all the positions I've held leading up to the police chief. And to derive a sense of accomplishment in each of those positions. When it became apparent that I was going to assume the role of police chief, I didn't even look at it in the context of becoming the first Black police chief. I looked at it in the context of wanting to be the very best police chief I could be, and take the organization to the next level, if you will. We're already on a path, I think, to success in the organization, but it needed a bit more, and I think we're well on the road to taking it to the next step.
That's great. What steps is the Miami Beach Police Department taking to promote diversity and inclusivity within its ranks?
Yeah. So you heard me mention the women leaders in the organization I promoted when I got here. That's huge for me, quite frankly. I think a more diverse police department, more diverse any department in government makes for a better delivery of services to the residents and the community we serve. And so on a daily basis, we're constantly out there recruiting others to join our workforce, the best of the best, if you will. And in doing so, we're very, very focused on ensuring that the best of the best sort of represent our community across the board.
Very cool. What are your top priorities as police chief, and how do you plan to implement them?
Well, continue to recruit and attract a diverse and professional workforce within the organization. Continuing to sort of advances in the area of technology. Police work has changed significantly since I became a police officer almost 3 decades ago. And the reliance is more and more on technology. There's a lot of buzz in the media now about AI, right? How do you sort of leverage AI to make a smarter police officer, to make a more efficient organization, provide safety and security in a way that we've never done in this country. So for me, that's part of our journey. That's our next step.
Awesome. How do you envision strengthening the relationships between law enforcement and the Miami Beach community?
Always work in progress, in my opinion. And you know, when we talk about the Miami Beach community, we can't think of it as a static thing because we're such a tourist destination, right? So our community is really sort of, by extension, the entire South Florida region. But even more importantly and beyond, you know, different states, different cities, different countries, people come here all the time. We get about 10 million visitors here all the time. And so I think it starts, quite frankly, with having a culture within the organization where every police officer understands that we are representative of something that's greater than ourselves, almost ambassadors, quite frankly, for the city. And so in every engagement we have, in my opinion, with the community, whether it's residents, tourists, and beyond, in every engagement we have to come from the perspective and context that we're ambassadors within the community. Beyond that, I think reaching out to our residents through the community associations, through neighborhood associations, through clergy groups, in our community, through business associations, having those sort of relationships and nurturing those relationships is also, I think, very important for us.
So you mentioned with Miami Beach being a popular tourist destination, how does the police department balance the needs of residents and visitors alike?
Yeah, that's always a challenge because you've got, you know, these opposing forces at times where the needs of the business community, the hotel community, a nightlife community are uniquely different from that of a residential community, right? You may have a resident who want to have peace and quiet and no traffic on the roadway, but then the business community needs that traffic, needs foot traffic, needs vehicular traffic, needs people patronizing their stores, their restaurants, their bars. And so there's always a constant, I think, give and take, push and pull, if you will, trying to balance both. I think understanding the needs of both and trying to be as responsive, as reactive as we possibly can is all we can do, really.
How do you approach ongoing discussions about police reform, and what initiatives are you spearheading to ensure fairness and justice in policing?
Yeah, so, you know, a number of years ago, that became a hot button issue, police reform throughout the organization. And in some cases, I think there needed to be changes in police work. I'm proud to say, and this started before I became chief, I'm proud to say the Miami Beach Police Department has always been a leader in that regard, fostering relationships with the community, reaching out beyond our borders to the folks that we think are important to be a part of this whole discussion, and really having policies in place within the organization that reflect our values and the culture of the organization.
Very cool. How does the department train officers to handle diverse cultural and social dynamics in Miami Beach?
Yeah, because we're such a diverse community, and we've been the leader in this region and in this regard, every police officer here is not only required to take initial training in cultural and ethnic diversity, but continuing training as well on an annual basis, right? Very, very important. And I can tell you, any tourist city, I think, should engage in that sort of stuff because we're all different. Quite frankly, and I think police officers need to have the ability to understand, recognize that difference, and act accordingly when confronted with it.
What challenges have you personally faced as a Black in law enforcement, and how have you overcome them?
I don't know if the challenges I've faced as a leader in police work, as current police chief of Miami Beach Police Department, I don't know if they've been unique because I'm a Black police chief. Mm-hmm. I believe the challenges exist across the board, and it goes to, at least in my case, balancing the needs of our community, balancing the needs of the police workforce you have, trying to recruit the best of the best to be a part of your police force, trying to instill a sense of value and culture in the police organization to the extent that people understand, buy into, adopt, and apply this idea of treating every person you come in contact with dignity and respect. And it doesn't matter whether or not it's a person that you stop to give a citation to. Doesn't matter if it's a person you're helping across the road. It doesn't matter if it's a person you have to arrest. Treating people with respect, dignity across the board, I think needs to be embedded in the police culture.
Well said. What message do you hope your leadership sends to young people, particularly those of underrepresented communities?
Yeah, I think the message I like to send is, there is nothing special about Chief Wayne Jones. Chief Wayne Jones is just a regular person like everybody else. But, you can achieve the leadership job of a police organization. You can achieve the leadership job of anything you're passionate about. If you're passionate about it, if you give 100% every day you do it, if you love it, I think you can do it. And so Wayne Jones, nothing special about me, quite frankly, other than the fact that I'm committed to what I do. I love what I do. I love serving our community. I love making it safer for folks who live here, folks who visit here. I love leading a positive culture within the police department. So you love it, you can do it.
Perfect. I love that. What mechanisms does your department have in place to receive and act on feedback from the public?
Yeah, so we have links on our website that does this. We proactively really reach out to our community. Every time I personally engage in our community, I ask them for their feedback. I hope that much of it is positive. Sometimes it's not. And the commitment I make is we welcome even negative feedback because that's how we get better, right? If we're constantly trying to evolve and be better, provide more service, better service to our community, we've got to sometimes go through the discomfort of getting feedback that's not flattering to the organization. And so love feedback. I get emails all the time on a daily basis from folks, many of whom have had positive experiences with my police officers, some not so much, right? And I react to all those emails because I think it's important. And there are sometimes some recommendations, suggestions in those emails that I get that make sense, and we implement that within the organization.
That's really neat. Looking ahead, what legacy do you hope to leave as chief of police for Miami Beach?
Wow, that's a tough one. I start off by saying that sometimes it feels like a treadmill, like a hamster. I haven't thought much about it, but now that you've asked the question, I'd like to leave the impression on people's minds that Chief Wayne Jones did the very, very best job he possibly could when he was police chief. That he led an organization with a culture that was open and welcoming to people from all over, regardless of where they come from, regardless of their background, that welcome welcoming to all those everybody, treated everybody with respect and dignity, irrespective of why we're making contact with them.
That's good. What advice would you give to individuals aspiring to make a difference in their community, whether in law enforcement or in other fields?
Yeah, so we're all a part of a community, right? And to me, whether it's police work, whether it's as being a teacher in school, whether it's driving a public transit, I think the advice I would give is two parts. One, recognize that a community is only as successful as the people within it. A community is only as successful as people who care about it. Caring about your community, caring about your fellow man or woman, treating them accordingly with respect and dignity, and doing it from a place of kindness and love, I think is what I'd say.
That's a good word. Thank you. And my last question, parting is such sweet sorrow. How can the residents and visitors of Miami Beach best support the Miami Beach Police Department in its mission and to serve and protect?
Yeah. I think even though Miami Beach Police Department is charged with protecting Miami Beach Police community, its residents and its visitors, the power we levy to do that comes from the community itself. And we're only as safe, I think, as our folks within the community sharing in part of that responsibility. This is all adage, if you see something, say something, supporting us in that regard, reaching out to us, us being the police department, when you see something, and holding us accountable. Quite frankly, we don't always get it right. Sometimes we do make mistakes. Every police department at times make mistakes. And when we do make mistakes, understand that we'll do our very best to fix it, correct our mistakes, but really calling us out on it. A lot of police chiefs won't tell you to do that. I can tell you I would, because I think it helps us get better at what we do. That
was good. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking the time to do this show. I know that you've been on the news, you've been everywhere, you've met a lot of people, and you took the time to meet someone, do an interview with someone you've never met. So that really, truly means a lot to me. So thank you so much, Chief Wayne, for being on the show. Is there any final message that you want to say? Because I have a little bit of minutes left. Is there anything you'd like to say?
Sure. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity, this platform to talk about. I just like to leave folks with this, particularly the young people. Again, nothing special about Chief Wayne Jones. Whatever you decide to do in life, doesn't matter what it is, be passionate about it, love it, do the very, very best job you can every day. And I really believe you can achieve, whatever your discipline is, you can achieve the top job within that discipline.
Perfect. I couldn't say it any better than you did. So you were listening to Chat with Kattt. Again, we had a very special guest, Police Chief of Miami Beach, Wayne Jones, on our show. He is actually the first Black police chief for the city of Miami Beach. We thank you so much for being on the show. You are listening to WSRF 1580 AM. This is part of our Black Excellence series on WSRF 1580 AM, and this is also streamed on YouTube, Facebook Live, and now Spotify and Apple. Thank you so much for joining the show. I hope to meet you in person. And best wishes for going down the line, and also continue to do a great job. I want to congratulate you for your officers being part of the transfer of power. That was huge to see that 52 of your best were there. So congratulations for everything you're doing with the city of Miami Beach. Thank you.
Thank you, Kat. Look forward to connecting at some point in the future.
All right. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Each day, the cost of living is increasing. It is the same as funeral and cemetery costs. Pre-plan your arrangements today and save your family the stress of finding the money later. Finance your plan up to 7 years with low down payments and affordable monthly payments. To set up your appointment, call Kathleen Barreau at 786-253-0211. 786-253-0211. Nous commençons une nouvelle année et c'est moment pour nous travail nouveau, plan nous. C'est peut-être ça, Caballero Rivera a offert un spécial extraordinaire, moi ça, pour aider à planifier. Avec seulement 2,5% de dépôt, ou ka réserver un espace cimetière pour ou ak famille ou. Nan un espace tranquille nan site Floyd là. Léo planifier bonheur nan moment difficile ça, li ba ou avantage pour pas porter bot blé devant tout le monde. Et spécial ça, pap dire pour tout temps. Relais Kathleen Barreau, jodia na 786 253 0211. Pour plus d'informations, pour cas assurer espace sous. Numéro encore, c'est 786 253 0211. Caballero Rivera, planifié jodia pour la paix, l'esprit demain. Hello, family. This is Kathleen Barreau with a very important message about pre-planning your final arrangements. Right now, we have an amazing and incredible offer to help you and your family secure peace of mind for a limited time. You can secure your forever home, your cemetery place, with just 2.5% down. Yes, only 2.5% down, making it easier than ever to plan ahead without any financial stress. You were asking why pre-plan? We all know that making final arrangements is one of the most important decisions we can make in our lives and with our families. Pre-planning helps you to lock in today's prices and avoid future inflation, and most importantly, spare your loved ones from emotional and financial stress. Instead of leaving behind tough decisions, you can take control and you can ensure your wishes are met. This very special offer is what makes so special, is that it's only 2.5% down, which secures you your cemetery space at any of our beautiful locations in Miami. Central Sink, 151st, Woodlawn West, Woodlawn North, Woodlawn South, Dade South and Dade North, and also Woodlawn Palms. You also have flexible monthly plans that fit your budget. No credit check required. You can have the worst credit. We will still take you. Prices are locked in forever, so your family never, ever has to worry about rising costs. Why act now? Opportunities like this don't come often. If you have been putting it off, pre-planning because of cost, now is a perfect time to take advantage of this low down payment option. By acting today, you can secure your space with ease and confidence and give your family the ultimate gift of peace of mind. Don't wait. This special will not last forever. Contact me, Kathleen Barreau, today to learn more about or to schedule a no obligation consultation. Call 786-253-0211. 786-253-0211. Take the first step towards protecting your family's future. With just 2.5% down, you can secure your legacy. Famille, nous gagnons un spécial, un bon spécial, ou ka mette 2,5% pour n'importe cimetière espace, dans n'importe cimetière, dans Miami-Dade, ou bien Fairway Memorial, dans Deerfield Beach. Pas quitter misère pour petit tout ou petit. Relève Kathleen Barreau à 786-253-0211. Kathleen Barreau, 786-253-0211. Pas fait GoFundMe et passer misère, embarrassement pour famille Pau. Faites un plan où ka mette 2,5% pour espace et où ka secure Plasou Kounia, Jodia, ou met relem at 786-253-0211. Kathleen Barreau, moi là toujours pour aider ou pour n'importe bagay ou vle pour enterrement. You were listening to Chat with Kattt. I want to thank all of our listeners. I want to especially thank Chief Wayne Jones for being on the show. Thank you so much. We look forward to having you for the next couple of shows this month. This is a month for Black History. We are highlighting all Black excellence in the city of Miami-Dade. Tune in next week on WSRF 1580 AM, 99.5 FM. And you can also listen to us on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, and Apple. Again, you're listening to Kathleen Barreau with Chat with Kattt.
You're listening to WSRF 1580 AM.